Completed that second trade. I think I probably sold out of the 453 calls a little bit early, but I wanted to be on the safe side here because there's some conflicting information, a little bit of conflicting information. But I think I probably sold a little bit soon. The issue being is that the high is a big rally that picks up momentum as we go into it, right? So we just had a rally that picked up momentum as we moved into it. Here, trade opportunity around the 11 to 12 o'clock hour. I sold the 453s here for about a 85%. I have to look roughly an 80%, 85% profit just to be on the safe side. And now what I'm looking for is this opportunity here, the Princess of Wands, which is opportunity to open up a short position. I'm looking for that opportunity. It's interesting that for today we have the high significator as the Prince of Wands, and then we start the day with the Prince of Wands and a trade opportunity there. So we likely go a bit higher. But in any case, I'm looking for that opportunity relatively soon. It's midday. It's possibly right around now, actually. What are we at? 11. It's right around this hour, I sense. In the midst of us moving higher, opportunity for me to open up some short positions, which I will sell with a gap down on Monday morning. Yeah, so we have a high end of the day today. We drop, and then we push and have a local high on Monday out of a gap. All right, guys. Well, that's where I'm at right now. As far as the rest of the day, we do have a notable trough ahead of us in between two crests. I saw a YouTube comment about crests and terminology in English. So for me, when I say crest, I just mean the top of like a... So it's not a high. A high would be like the highest point, or the highest high would be the highest point. A high would be like a major or a very notable high. I mean, it may be the high, and then there's a higher high after it, and then a higher high after it. So it's the high at that moment, right? A crest is when we have a turnaround, like we're on our way up, and then we turn around, we create a crest. It's not necessarily at a higher point. It's just we were in a decline, and then we turn around, we went higher, and then we turn around and we decline again. That point there is a crest. Whereas the opposite is a trough. A trough, right? And a crest. Alright, guys. That's where I'm at. Let me know if you like this sort of stuff. Looks like I might have timed it pretty well, actually. We'll see. I'll be back on in a little bit. I'm looking to make that trade, that short position trade, and I'll let you guys know where I'm at once I do that. See you in a bit. Hello, my friends. All right, so I purchased the. Okay, so let me make sure I got the right volume going on right now. All right, guys. So I purchased the put. Like I said, we're doing this small. We're growing it. We're going to grow an account from like a tiny, tiny little bit. So, a little step at a time. Tortoise wins the race, my friends. So I purchased a 432 put, expires on April 25th for $1.93. Already up 4.5% on that. All right, guys. So that's where we're at. It's looking a little tricky towards the end of the day because we have a high correlator between 1 and 2, and then we have another one in the post market. But these are, excuse me, these are pretty. These are bearish cards at the end of the day. These last two cards. We do have that little bit of a rally. So we had this lucky move higher. Rally. Yeah, so we've got a bit of a rally here. But there's a gap here. There's a gap at the end, at the beginning of Monday morning. when I look at the overview. Decline, so we were in a decline, then we push higher, right? Then we gap down, then we push higher to a higher high than we had. So Monday morning, I'll look to buy some calls. We'll see. Depending on where we open, I may buy a call on Monday morning to sell on Monday evening, because it does look like a bullish day there, relatively bullish day, guys. So with that said, that's where I'm at right now, guys. Check out the trade plans. I got a new series called 11 Trades to a Million. We start with a tiny amount and we just grow it with 11 trades. We're using options. Wouldn't that be something? 11 trades to $1 million. We'll see. You know, crazier things have happened, like people predicting the stock market with tarot cards. All right, guys. So if you like this sort of stuff, let me know. I'm going to start ramping up some other types of trade posts and stuff like that. We've got a gold April. It's a little bit late, but we've got an April gold coming out. And then I'll start working on Mercury retrograde strategy, because we've got that. The influence of Mercury retrograde starts on the 26th. It's also eclipse season, guys. Oh my God. So when you take a Mercury retrograde and you compound it with eclipses, it's some of the most eclipses during retrograde, some of the most volatilistic astrological signatures that I've been aware of while aware of astrology and trading. So it's gonna be a real wild ride, and I'd like to be prepared ahead of time. What do you guys think? You can make a lot of money. So what I learned the hard way is not to trade during retrograde, to set up the plan around retrograde, to set up the trade strategy around retrograde, to set it up before retrograde, implement it before retrograde, and if you're planning on holding positions during retrograde, it's with the intent to sell them based on a plan that was put in place prior to the retrograde. It's really important to hold to the plan and not deviate it once retrograde starts, because you'll regret it. Make the plan ahead of time, as we're going to do, and you can only do that with what? You can only do that with Eso-Meta analysis, guys. Everybody else, they have to wait until the day to based on what they see the market doing at that day to make a plan. We're going to create a plan based on what we see days in advance. Actually, yeah, well, days in advance, almost 2 weeks in advance. All right, guys, well, that's where we're at, and I'll be back on as things progress. Look for this little bit of a rally here to open up some puts if you're looking to follow along with what I'm doing. And with that said, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate the support. I'll be back on as things progress. See you later.